Urs, excited to be here with you today talking about building a portfolio or a multi-currency portfolio. I think it's sometimes tough for Americans to understand what that means, what that looks like. When you're in the U.S., you're very used to the U.S. markets, U.S. products that you're buying, thinking in U.S. dollars, everything's in U.S. dollars. And if you're buying a foreign investment or thinking about another currency, you're thinking about, okay, maybe sending money for a trip, getting some euros from your bank account, ordering euros, or sending it over to maybe a fintech wallet.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be good to really talk about what it means to have that portfolio and why does it hold value.
Right. So when we work with our clients and they are sending US dollar from the US, what we are doing, we're taking it out of the US dollar. And what this means is if you think of your portfolio, and let's say you have positions in your portfolio like Nvidia, Alphabet, whatsoever, then you have kind of this kind of such positions, but there are like Swiss francs, euros, British pounds, Australian dollar, Japanese yen, maybe any other currency. So we are going to move the US dollars into these different currencies. And then once you're in these currencies, we're using the funds in the respective currencies and invested into equities, into fixed income opportunities, into whatever makes sense for you to be invested in this specific currency. So you have the full exposure to the currency, and then on top of that, you own a company which is in this region you're exposed to.
Yeah, and I think kind of the technical aspect that people understand the investment into a company in Switzerland, right?
Right.
And they understand that Switzerland doesn't have the US dollar sometimes. But Switzerland does not have the US dollar, they have the Swiss franc.
They do.
And so it's that action of, okay, now we're going to move that US dollar that was sent into the bank account to the Swiss franc and invest into a Swiss company. And now the performance of your portfolio is going to be referenced against the US dollar. So it's not being held in US dollar. It's being held in Swiss franc, as an example, with this one specific situation. But now the performance of your investment to be calculated to your reference currency, or the currency that you sent, is your dividends, the appreciation or depreciation of the title that you bought and its stock price, and the currency value in relation to your home currency. So you have three kind of metrics of performance that you're calculating. Okay, how is my portfolio doing? And you have that with every different portfolio, with every different currency, right? So if you have euros, it's coming back US dollar to euro. So a company might be doing well, let's say in the euro area. Against the US dollar, you're getting the performance of the euro against the US dollar and the company. But then you have another company who's doing maybe a little bit less, but the Swiss franc is actually strengthening more than the euro is against the US dollar. So you have that performance in it.
Correct. And it's a very important point that it is referenced in US dollars, just also to make it kind of comparable. So if you send over 1 million and then you see, okay, my portfolio is worth 1.2 million, then you see, okay, it is due to the currency, it is due to the positions. And so it helps you to better understand what the portfolio did. And then, I mean, when we talk to our clients, we explain, okay, well, what is the contribution of the performance of the currency, what is the contribution of the performance through the investment itself. And we are also not going to hedge any currencies. That is one of the main differences. If you, in some instances, you can also invest in foreign assets in the US, but there oftentimes you hedge the currency. And that doesn't really make sense from our perspective, because our perspective is that the US dollar over time will devalue, and so it makes sense to have the full exposure, even so it fluctuates in between.
Absolutely. Urs, thank you so much for joining me today.